Jacob Tyler Norman reporting for duty. Day 8 of a 30-day challenge to get better on film. I like working at the restaurant because it's easy. It's even. Ooh, I know what I'm gonna talk about. Okay. I'll probably actually talk about both things. I like working at the restaurant because. Excuse me. I like working at the restaurant because it's easy. I've gotten to the point where I can show up to work and I just turn off my mind and it's all autopilot, so that's nice. And you know, even if people start off kind of like grumpy, once you bring them the food, they're happy. I had a really I don't want to say she was grumpy, but she was just kind of neurotic, a neurotic lady that and I was her server, and we had a little bit of an issue. Here's what happened. So it's, you know, middle of the day, 2 o'clock, whatever. I have my section of tables. You know, it's about 8 tables maybe, and my tables are all full except for maybe like 2 or 3 of them. And so this lady comes and sits down on one of my few open tables, and she says, "Hey, I just need to run to the restroom." And you know, there's like a certain tonality that people use, and it's like everything is frantic. She had this like tone of voice that, "I'm just running to the restroom, okay? Ooh." I was, "Yeah, oh, go, fine." But like that was her tone of voice, and so she runs to the restroom. I look at her, because at the restaurant I work at, people order first and then sit down, and then after you sit down, it's full service. Anyway, so I'm looking at her ticket of what she ordered, and she got an Arnold Palmer to drink, so it's my job to go get the Arnold Palmer. So I go off to the back where the drink stand is, and I go get the Arnold Palmer. I'm making it, and then I have the drink on the tray. I'm going back to put it down where she said she wanted to sit, and as I turn the corner, there's 2. She was older. She was like maybe in her 60s, you know. But there were 2 older gentlemen who were probably in their late 70s, 80s. Like, and one of them was like, it was having a hard time like walking, even like sitting. Like for him, moving was you know, a little bit of a chore. And so I look, and one of the guys, they're both old, they're both like 70, 80, right? But one of them, his name's Paul. I know this because he comes in all the time, and he's like this, like, I don't know if this is true, but the servers all have this little lore about Paul and think that he was probably in his younger years part of the mafia or something. He's like, "You know, don't worry about it, like, it's fine, give me some coffee." Like, he's just very he's just a very cool cat. But he always wears like a leather jacket. He's just a cool old man, and he always talk like, "Yeah, forget about it, don't mention it, like, I mean that, don't mention it." That type of persona, I guess. And you know, he's a regular and he comes in all the time. So I'm thinking, if Paul wants to sit there, he can sit there. First of all, because I like Paul. Second of all, I'm not gonna. His friend, who was the older out of the 2, was the one who was having a hard time walking, and there was no way I was gonna ask him to get up and move. You know, I have a heart, right? And So by this time, the lady, I don't know her name because I didn't recognize her. She's coming back in, and she is like, oh boy," and she's like making a beeline straight for these two older gentlemen towards Paul's table that used to be her table, but like she didn't leave like anything on it. She didn't leave her purse for me to watch or anything like that. Like if she would have left something, he would like Paul would have never sat there in the first place. But so she goes, "This is my table. Excuse me." And I'm like, hey, whoa. I put myself in between Paul, because Paul's like, he's like hardly hears. Like I'm pretty sure he just reads lips. He's like, what's going on? Like he has no idea. So I'm just like, it's fine. Hey, she's like, I need to sit here. And I was like, you need to sit here? She's like, this is the only table here that has it, because my section has this beautiful, it's on the second floor of a building. So has this beautiful view of I think it's the Uinta Mountains, but I live in Utah, so the Uinta Mountains. And she's like, I wanted to see the mountains. And I was like, it's fine. She's like, well, no, why didn't you, tell them to move her? And then she's mad at me. And I'm just, using a very soothing tone of voice. I'm like, it's fine, don't worry about it. Look, and I say, hey, I've sat, and I know, you want to know where the best seat in the house is, if you want to look at the mountains. And it wasn't even in my section, but it was like right across the aisle from where she wanted to sit. And I said, look, there's like they're benches, so when you sit down, you're pretty low. And if you're right next to the window ledge is higher than the tables. So if you sit down, you can't even get a good view. I'm like, if you sit across from it, and you sit right here, you can have a beautiful view of the mountains. And she's like, I don't know about that. I'm like, look, just sit down and try it out. And if you don't like it, we'll figure something out. There was no way I was going to ask Paul to move. But by this point, by just me being very like calm and like, it's fine. She sat down. She's like, oh, this actually is great. But she wanted to cause a little bit of a commotion. And luckily I was able to soothe her. And then I bought her dessert too. And then so at some point, so she started off kind of hostile towards me and like just like a little mad. But then halfway through, she said, she was like, I've had you before, like as a server, like I've been here before, and you're always really nice to me. And I had no recollection of this, but apparently I've served her several times, and she said that every time I do a good job. So I think just staying positive, and even if someone's mad at you or whatever, it's just like if you just buy into their worldview and then meet them where they're at, you can pretty much get what you want out of the situation at the end of the day. So I met her where she was at, and by the end of the experience, she was from like tense to like, she was a lot more like calm and relaxed, and she seemed really happy. And her whole meal, like I bought her dessert, which was, came out of my pocket, whatever, it was only like $7, no big deal. And then she gave me and her tip percentage she ended up leaving a 50% tip out of what her meal cost, like $20, right? And it's just for her, and she ended up leaving like $10. So I thought that was really sweet, and but that was my day. And there was a couple of things today where people were just like really like, if I had a different perspective, like things would have thrown me off. I've been like, that's annoying or whatever. But today I was on fire. I was like, you need that? Boom, got it. There's some days where I feel like I'm killing it, and there's other days when people are like, can I get decaf coffee? And I'm like, that's in Narnia. That's an impossible task. But so yeah, today was good. and it like, it's funny how like just a little bit of like small things can like have a positive chain reaction. Like I don't drive, so I took the train to work, and it was like sunny, and I had like my earphones in, and my music was just like, sometimes, you know, you get mad at your music, whatever, like whether it's like Spotify or Pandora. I use the YouTube Music app, but sometimes you're just like, man, God, you don't know me at all. But today, my random playlist was just everything. Like I was singing along, walking to work, the sun was out, and people that I was walking by on the street, like everyone, like, you know, made eye contact, smiled, nod. Like sometimes you can't even get people to, like, people are just like, or like you won't look at you, like, ugh. So it was just all these little things put me in such a good mood that when I had a semi kind of like, not, I don't want to say hysterical, but she was like, it's like a high intensity, and usually that would have been like, lady, just calm down. But because I had snowballed all these little good experience and noticed them, like I appreciate them, like, hey, you know, things are going good. Like I'm huge into like self affirmations. Maybe not like saying the same thing every day, although I do have a little this is that's a gift my friend got for me. It was, I wrote a poem, and it was like, for a while it was like I would wake up and I would take a cold shower and I would like sing this like little poem that I made up, and it's like my morning chant. It's called King Supreme, and that was like that got me. I did that for a while. That got me pumped up, and I told my friend about it, and she's like, that's silly, but for, I don't know if it was my birthday or Christmas, she got it, she printed it out and made a poster for me, and I was like, that was really sweet. But yeah, I mean, so I think focusing on the good things and letting them snowball, and then just having an attitude, just like, you can be upset and that's okay. It's my job to make sure that I can fix it. And if I see something, you know, if I can see that someone, like I'm a very energetic based person. Like if I can see that someone's mood is, if someone's like either kind of down or like angry or just like in a lower vibrational state, I guess, then I'm just like, okay, let's lift that up, and you know, with humor or just pure positivity. I mean, sometimes you just gotta let people be mad. Sometimes they just won't be pissed off, and you like if someone comes off pissed off, I'm not like, well, just think of the bright side. I'm like, yeah, you know, that makes me mad too. But if you meet people where you're at and then start going to something more positive, I find that works. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. This is day 8. I made it past my first week. I think that was the first big hurdle. Today was easier than some days were. I don't know if like the thing is, you think like, oh, it's like it's gonna be hard this day, and then eventually it's gonna like, it's hard and it's easier and it's easier. It's not like that. It's like some days it's really hard, some days it's really easy, and then the next day it'll be hard again. Like I mean, I'm only a week or a little over a week in. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm only a week into this, so there's no telling, but it's showing up on those days where it is hard is rewarding, and then I just appreciate the days where it's not. But anyways, thank you so much for listening. Like, subscribe, follow, share, hit that bell. Before I cough again, I'm gonna get out of here, but I'll see you tomorrow for day 9. This is Jacob Tyler Norman, signing out.